as well. Joining me in the studio now is Jo Lehmann from Northampton-based mental health charity St Andrews, who've just done a survey into what we actually understand about more complex mental health issues. Jo, thanks for coming in.
Thanks for having us.
Now, it's great to have projects like we've just heard there, the Man Alive project. It's great that kind of thing is going ahead, but there's still an awful lot of stigma around mental health generally, isn't there? Which has been revealed with this survey you carried out.
Yeah, I mean, the survey that we conducted found that while we've kind of made great strides in opening up the conversation on mental health for things like depression and anxiety, we've still got some way to go into kind of talking more openly about complex conditions such as schizophrenia and borderline personality disorder. And we found that when we surveyed 1,000 people, and we found that a lot of people that we surveyed are still quite fearful of those people that are living with schizophrenia and borderline personality disorder. In fact, 1 in 20 said that they'd be nervous if somebody... 1 in 4 said they'd be nervous if they knew somebody was diagnosed with schizophrenia, compared to 1 in 20 for depression. So it just shows that, you know, we've still got a bit of a way to go in kind of widening that conversation.
Yeah, it's ignorance, isn't it? It's just ignorance.
I think a lot of it is ignorance. In fact, we spoke to one person who's been in our care, a patient living with schizophrenia, and she said, you know, it's not to do with, you know, maliciousness. I think it's more to do with a lack of understanding. And I think people just confuse, complex conditions like schizophrenia with, we see it in Hollywood all the time in the films.
I think movies and TV has a case to answer here. I think they portray conditions like schizophrenia in a very negative manner and make people frightened.
I think they do. Yeah, you're right. I mean, and they tend to kind of just lump. You know, I watched The Joker the other day, and the character in that has got this kind of undiagnosed mental health condition. It never really actually says what condition he's suffering from. And I think, you know, that's the difference between mental health and physical health. We wouldn't ever kind of say, oh, somebody's got a physical health condition without saying, oh, they've got cancer or they've got, you know, they've had a stroke, for example. Whereas when it comes to mental health, we tend to lump everything together. So I think it's, you know, we've come a long way, but I do think that we just need to open up that conversation and kind of build our knowledge, and films and soaps have a kind of like role to play in that.
What can we do then, Jo, to help someone who may be in a mental health crisis, even if we don't necessarily understand their condition? What advice would you give? I
think just not be afraid of them for first things first, you know, like ask them how they're doing, ask them to explain, you know, what it's like living with schizophrenia, for example. Schizophrenia is a long-term mental health condition which can cause a range of kind of psychological symptoms such as hallucinations and muddled thoughts. But people with schizophrenia don't have a split personality, which is the kind of the myth there. And I think that often comes from those films. You know, I can think of that film called Split, which is all about split personality. And in fact, in our survey, when we asked people to name somebody suffering from schizophrenia, they named that film. So it just shows that there is that confusion there. So I think it's just asking questions.
Jo, what kind of work does St Andrews do then in Northampton?
So we look after some of the most complex mental health patients in the country. So we've got about 758 patients in our care across 4 sites. So our main one being Northampton, but we've also got sites in Birmingham, Essex and Nottingham. We look after really complex mental health patients.
And are you seeing an increase in people being diagnosed with these conditions?
I think what we're seeing is more people reaching us almost in a crisis point. I think there has been kind of, you know, with bed reductions across the country, I think we are seeing more and more people kind of reaching us, you know, that are really, really needing help. And so I think if we can do things about raising awareness within the society and getting people to kind of ring helplines or seek help earlier, then we can go in some way in kind of helping people earlier.
OK, where can people find more information on your charity then? Are they online?
Yep, so all of the information about our research is on the St Andrews website, which is www.stah.org.
We've come a long way in recent years with regards to the stigma around mental health, but there's still a long way to go, isn't there?
Indeed.
Jo Lehmann from St Andrews, thanks for coming in this afternoon.
Thank you.